Get your hanky ready. Welcome to MsMojo, and today we'll be counting down our picks for the top 10 saddest moments on Dr. Phil. For this list, we'll be looking at the saddest moments from Dr. Phil and ranking them based on a combination of extreme shock value and emotional impact.
Every action has a reaction. If a child came up and smacked you in the face, would you smack them back?
No.
Because you control your reaction. And there's no reason why you shouldn't control your reaction with her.
Number 10, a heartbreaking mother-son conversation. Watching upset children is a special kind of heartbreaking.
Let me say something to you that's real important that you hear this.
This episode sees Sherry and Todd discussing their violent 8-year-old son with Dr. Phil. This child allegedly throws objects, punches walls, harms animals, and has even stolen his grandfather's car.
This young man is 8 years old, and every year that goes by, he's getting bigger and stronger and smarter and more difficult to manage. And you better get him under control right now.
Sherry filmed her son in the bathroom, and the video is absolutely devastating. She says things like,
"You know what? The whole world needs a break from you.
No.
That's why nobody wants you around, because of the way you act."
Meanwhile, the crying child asks his mom why she never takes him to his grandmother's and why she's getting tired of him, a question his mother has no answer for. Those are questions you never want to hear from a child, especially your own.
Why can never take me to mammals?
Leanna's not mean to me like you are.
Number 9, domestic abuse delusions. This is a well-known Dr. Phil segment, and for good reason. It is equal parts flabbergasting and soul-crushing.
If your boyfriend hits you or beats you up, stay with him. He loves you because he's risking for you to press charges on him, calling the police. A guy that's willing to do that for a girl, it's amazing.
It concerns an 18-year-old woman named Romina who believes that physical abuse is a sign of love. In Romina's own words, not just anyone is going to go to jail for you. This bizarre statement elicits disappointed groans from the audience, and Phil calls it an idiotic message.
Your logic is flawed at so many levels that I ordinarily would not give you audience on this platform for 2 seconds.
And while it certainly is that, there's also a level of tragedy to the whole story. We don't know if Romina has personally been abused or not, but it's very clear that she has a horrifically warped sense of love and personal relationships. And that is very sad indeed.
I just want to let everybody know that I don't have a boyfriend anymore because he wasn't beating me hard enough. So I had to break up with him, it just wasn't good enough for me.
Number 8, Nicholas Brendon asks for help. Actor Nicholas Brendon is known for his roles in Criminal Minds and Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
I don't know you, do I?
I'm Buffy. I'm new.
Xander is me. Hi.
Although he has spiraled into addiction and numerous legal issues over the years. He famously appeared on Dr. Phil in 2015 in an attempt to get help, and his segment is legitimately hard to watch.
I'm alone right now in New York, and I just need some help. I just need some help. I do. Please help me.
We listen to upsetting voicemails where Brendon pleads for help, and we watch as he cries in front of Phil and acknowledges that he's felt hopeless and afraid in the past.
What were you feeling at that moment?
Hopeless.
While sometimes defensive, he also recounts a time that he cut his wrists with a serrated steak knife in a desperate cry for help. And it's a very personal details that few actors would be willing to share. We commend his bravery.
It was reported that you tried to kill yourself September 22nd and 23rd. You say 23rd's not true, but 22nd was true. Did you want to die then?
Number 7, a suffering Shelley Duvall. It's always difficult to watch someone clearly suffering under the strain of mental illness.
I don't know.
I don't think that's true.
Shelley Duvall retired from acting in 2002 and retreated from the public eye. She resurfaced on Dr. Phil in 2016, and it was very clear that she was not well. She is lucid enough to say, "I'm very sick, I need help," but she also claims that Robin Williams is not dead but a shapeshifter, and that she has an alien implant in her leg.
I loved Robin Williams. I don't think he's dead.
Where do you think he is?
Shape-shifting.
Do you see him?
Have, yes.
It's distressing to see and hear, and Phil quickly came under fire for what some interpreted as an exploitative interview.
The man who threatened me is the sheriff of Nottingham.
Various celebrities, including Patton Oswalt, Mia Farrow, and Vivian Kubrick, whose father directed Duvall in The Shining, were quick to voice their displeasure. Number 6, Marianne and Miranda. Marianne discovered that her longtime husband had visited a strip club 15 years ago, and her extreme reaction was to radically alter her own body.
She's made obsessive changes to her body. Cutting her hair, dyeing her hair, getting a large back tattoo, started drinking, getting plastic surgery. She's really freaking out. She's way obsessive over it. Every day it seems to get worse.
This included plastic surgery, a massive back tattoo, and breast augmentation. She also resorted to drinking along with these radical physical alterations to cope with her sense of betrayal. To make matters worse, she also tried extending this behavior to her daughter, Miranda, convincing her to get breast augmentation and to, quote, have lots of sex.
My mom's so crazy that she has a stripper pole at the house. The other day I came home and there was fake money all over the floor. She was pretending to be a stripper.
She claims that sex and physical looks are more important than an education. It's clear as she talks to Dr. Phil that the ordeal has completely decimated this entire family.
Are you insane?
No?
You have a beautiful, intelligent daughter here.
Number 5, The Girl in the Closet. Dr. Phil hosted a 2-part special dedicated to the girl in the closet, whose real name is Lauren Kavanaugh.
I can't listen to country music because that's all they ever played, to drown out my screaming.
When Kavanaugh was 2 years old, she was imprisoned in a 4-by-8-foot closet by her mother and stepfather. She was kept in there until she was 8. In that time, she was sexually abused by her stepfather and random men. She was forced to live in her own urine and feces, and her stepfather would often fire an unloaded gun at her head.
I hardly sleep. I have night terrors, nightmares, flashbacks. Every day I relive my past.
By the time she was released in 2001, she weighed just 25 pounds. This unimaginable traumatic event has led Kavanaugh to attempt suicide over 30 times. There are no words to truly do justice to how sad and horrific this all is.
My parents would refer to Lauren as that girl, the problem, or it. We knew that she was our sister, but we were closed off from her.
Number 4, The Story of Aneska. Aneska is a 12-year-old child who causes lots of problems.
Recently, she took matches, lit paper, and set a comforter on fire. We absolutely do not know what she's going to do next.
Her personality was radically altered after falling off a tricycle when she was 3. She now suffers from some sort of mental illness, as she claims to hear voices that tell her to commit violent actions.
Aneska told me that the voices told her to do it.
I took her to the doctor and we began antipsychotic medication.
This includes choking her sister, bludgeoning the family's pet hamster with a flashlight, and squeezing baby birds to death. Aneska has taken over 35 medications to help quell her violent tendencies and has been admitted to treatment centers on nearly 20 separate occasions. It's a heart-wrenching story about the unpredictability of life, the stresses of mental illness, and the lengths that parents will go to help their suffering children.
Like sometimes I hear whispers and I can't make out what they're saying.
Okay.
So it's scary for me.
Number 3, Audrey confronts all forms of domestic abuse. This special episode about domestic violence concerns Lorraine and Mike. Lorraine claims that Mike is abusive towards her, and Mike in turn denies any physical mistreatment.
There's something that we experience in domestic violence called separation assault. And the most dangerous time for any woman in an abusive relationship is immediately when she leaves that relationship.
Phil then brings in an abuse victim named Audrey to talk to the couple about the spectrum of abuse. Audrey had previously been set on fire by her cop ex-husband after she left him, and was left horribly scarred by the ordeal. Mike is shocked by Audrey's physical state, and Audrey drops a bombshell on him by asking,
"So what if it was her?"
Audrey would later return to Dr. Phil after receiving extensive cosmetic surgery, but the scars, both literal and figurative, are still there.
Before this happened, you were never hit.
No, I was never hit, and it went from 0 to 100 real quick.
Number 2, the Harif apology. In August 2016, a college student named Austin Harriff stabbed a couple to death and was found attempting to eat the man's face and abdomen.
No bath salts, no flakka. Late this afternoon, the Martin County State Attorney's Office released its toxicology report on Austin Harriff.
He's the teenager the sheriff claims violently attacked and murdered a Tequesta couple in their home this summer.
What do you say to the families of those victims? How can an apology mitigate that kind of loss? Austin's father knows that words cannot alleviate the horror and grief, but he still shows genuine remorse over his son's hideous actions. It's absolutely gut-wrenching to see a loving father grapple with his son's heinous crime while also apologizing to his victims.
I'm deeply sorry for what my son did to those people. And I'm apologizing for him. Because my husband would have never done that, he would never knowingly done anything like that.
Austin himself later talks to Dr. Phil and claims that he blacked out during the events. A forensic psychologist later diagnosed Austin with clinical lycanthropy delusions, which is when someone believes that they are an animal.
I really don't have words to explain how I feel. It's like a nightmare.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Michelle Knight speaks. Kidnapping victim Michelle Knight became nationally known on May 6, 2013, when she and 2 other females were rescued from Ariel Castro's house.
And each time, he would do what?
Beat me, starve me, push me downstairs, punch me, jump on my stomach.
Knight had disappeared back in 2002, and authorities believe that she had run away after losing custody of her son, Joey. Knight discussed her decade-long imprisonment with Dr. Phil, and it makes for some truly harrowing TV. They talk about Michelle gagging over her own stench, being raped 7 times a day, being eaten away by bugs, and holding her own aborted fetus.
You said that you actually held one of your miscarried or actually aborted by Castro, that you actually held one of those babies.
You can practically see the madness in her eyes as she recounts the story, and it is morbidly bleak and desolating. There's a lot of evil in the world, but bravery and determination like Knight's is worth celebrating.
At the time, I sat there and said, I'm sorry that you was born into this horrible condition, and I'm sorry that I couldn't do more for you.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.